Hi, I'm Cordelia Francesca Brabs from ChooseYourFreedom.com, and I'm here just outside the city of Béziers in France at the start of a 3-week journey around Cathar country. And a few weeks ago I was guided to read some books on the Cathars. I started with Labyrinth by Kate Moss, a really amazing fiction book that I highly recommend, that will bring up a ton of your stuff around Cathars and the Catholics. And then a great book called The Perfect Heresy, which really gives an insight into the Cathar religion and their persecution by the Catholics. It's absolutely fascinating, especially if you're on your spiritual path. I highly recommend you look into the Cathars if you're not familiar with them, because for me this has been unlocking a whole ton of stuff that has been limiting me, holding me back, a whole bunch of fear, patterns, limitations, all kinds of crazy stuff. So just to give you a very quick insight, Béziers was the site of the first siege in the Catholic Church's crusade against the Cathars, who they perceived to be heretics. The Cathars back then were known, this is in the Middle Ages, this is medieval France. So the Cathars were known then as the bon homme, the good men, and they were very pure living, very ascetic. They relinquished worldly material goods. They didn't drink, they didn't eat meat, they didn't have sex. They believed that in order to become, like the highest rank of a Cathar priest, you had to absolutely be so pure, so perfect, that you could, when you died, you could go back to God, to the light, and not have to reincarnate again into what the Cathars believed was basically hell on earth. That the world they lived in was so cruel and full of suffering it could not possibly have been created by their God. And that the Catholic Church, which was basically, they believed in some kind of demonic god, some kind of evil energy, the Old Testament God of judgment and persecution and wrath and all the not so nice stuff. So the Cathars were seen as a threat because more people were starting to follow them. They lived in their communities, were very good people, helped others. They were, upstanding members of their community who gave a lot of comfort. And in a time when the Catholic Church was especially greedy and corrupt and taxed people and, sold relics and were basically just seen as using and abusing the people, the Cathars were seen as a refreshing alternative who cared more about people than about money and wealth and power. So the Catholics decided to create a crusade. They came down from northern France, down into the south, into the Aude region, the Languedoc, where I am now. And Béziers, behind me, was the first city to be besieged by this army. And it's incredibly tragic because some of the young men, some of the soldiers inside the city, opened the gates and ran down a bridge to attack a small group of other young lads who had come up close to the city that they perceived was insulting. So they wanted to go down and teach them a lesson. And unfortunately, the besiegers saw the gates were opened, and the army, basically all of the peasants who were fighting, rushed up into the city and started attacking. One of the nobles who was leading went to the, I forget, he's a bishop or an archbishop leading the besiegers, and said there are innocents in there. There are Christians, there are Catholics, as well as the, what was a very small number of Cathars. And he replied, God will recognize his own. And so 15,000 to 20,000 people were brutally, horrifically slaughtered, massacred in the space of a few hours. So if you think of how many people that is, it kind of gives you an idea of just how brutal and bloodthirsty this attack was. And absolutely no mercy was shown. There was not a single person left alive, and the city was burnt to the ground. So Béziers has this very tragic history, and it's just the start. When you read around the Cathars and this crusade against them, just the most awful, horrific things were inflicted upon people during this period. And when I read about this and I tune in, I really sense that this was a turning point, that there was this dark energy that came in and plunged Europe, possibly, you know, the UK, the world, into this period of darkness, into the Dark Ages. And the Catholic Church created fear, persecution. They created the Inquisition to weed out the Cathars. You know, many people believe it was the Spanish Inquisition that began. It was here in France. And so they created fear, they got people to betray each other, they hunted Cathars down, it wasn't safe, they had to stay hidden, they had to keep their true identities concealed over the years of these crusades. And it's just, you know, when you read about this and you understand this, you realise when you're on your spiritual path and you have this either in your own timeline or in your ancestry, what a powerful effect this had on you. And in many different ways, because it wasn't just about fear of persecution or you know, fear of betrayal and all the horrible dark things that went on, you know, being burnt at the stake by the Catholics and so on. And, you know, if you have a Cathar timeline running, you will also most likely have a lot of poverty and ascetic issues going on, you know, not allowing yourself to be abundant, not allowing yourself to enjoy worldly goods and have, you know, abundance and opulence in your life, because there may still be this program and energy running of, I have to be pure, I have to relinquish worldly goods, I have to not have money, I have to not have sex, I have to be just perfect and pure in order to get the hell out of this crazy world and go back to the light. So I know that may resonate with some of you. And I just, you know, I'm so excited about doing this journey because I feel it is going to unlock and release so much from me. Those kinds of patterns, the really deep fear, the heavy energies, all of the stuff that you know, I've been implanted with, programmed with from this period. And I'm going to be going to several towns. I'm going to be going up to Montségur Castle, which was the last you know, stronghold of the Cathars. I will do some videos from there. And I just can't wait to let this stuff go. It's so time, and you know, I'm recording this a few days before the solstice, and I just really invite you too to feel into this, read about the Cathars, feel into this timeline. Do you have this stuff? Are you holding yourself back from being the healer, the beacon of light in this world that you are, because it doesn't feel safe? You feel like you have to hide, that you're going to be betrayed, that out there isn't safe, that somehow something or someone is going to come and get you? Do you have the poverty thing going on, where you can feel you're trying to get rid of money, it doesn't feel okay to have money, or opulence or abundance? There's a guy down there just singing away. So if you feel that you have all that stuff, I really highly recommend that you start clearing this Cathar timeline, and I am going to be creating some classes to help you with that in the next few weeks. So stay tuned, there will be more coming from me, but I just wanted to give you this brief introduction from Béziers, and encourage you to, you know, read about this, look into this. This is a huge, huge thing for you to clear if you're a light worker, a healer, a coach. I really believe this can unlock so much for you, open up abundance, open up freedom, the ability to feel safer in this world, the ability to step into your divine purpose and not hold back through fear of persecution and being hunted down and being wrong, and also feeling good being on this earth, in this world, to know that you're safe, that it's good, that you can be here and have fun and enjoy your life, that it's not this crazy dark hell that it was in the Middle Ages. So, from me and from the city of Béziers, I wish you blessings and love, and I will be holding you in my heart on this journey, and keep an eye out for more from me about how I can help you clear this heavy, heavy stuff from your timeline too. Much love, take care, au revoir.